What's going on, guys? My name is Zed and welcome to this video. The year is 2006. The company, Pixar Animation Studios, they were releasing their 7th feature film, Cars. Now, Cars featured a star-studded cast. You have Owen Wilson as the titular Lightning McQueen. You have Bonnie Hunt as Sally. You have Larry the Cable Guy as Tow Mater. And there's a slew of fantastic supporting characters, including Ramon and Fillmore. Now, Ramon is a beautiful 1959 Chevy Impala lowrider, and throughout all the films, he sports many paint jobs. Now, Ramon is played by the amazing Cheech Marin, one half of the hilarious comedy duo Cheech and Chong. Now, with all that information being laid out in front of you, it is time to talk about our man, the 1960s Volkswagen bus, Fillmore. Growing up, Fillmore always reminded me of somebody important in my life. That person was my grandpa. Now, he is no longer with us, but Fillmore and my grandpa always seemed like they were high on life. And they were also high in other things. Today, I went back and revisited the Cars trilogy, starting off this morning with the first Cars. And while watching it, I was hit directly again with the voice of Fillmore and just brought back so many memories of my grandfather. It was like I was hearing him again. And though Fillmore reminded me so much of my grandfather, it was the voice actor behind him who really matched who my grandfather was, in the way he looked, in the way that he talked, in the way that he looked at the world. And then I Googled it. I want us all to think in our heads, who was the voice of Fillmore? And to help you guys out, because some of you probably haven't seen these movies in a long while, I'm going to play a clip, a conversation between Fillmore and Ramon. We already know Ramon's played by Cheech Marin. Tell me who plays Fillmore. Here we go.
How can you eat this stuff, man?
I love them. Don't you like these?
I told you not to buy it, man.
Oh, what'd you do that for, man? I would've ate it.
All right, folks, now we have all listened to that clip, and I think it's safe to say we all know who played Fillmore. You guessed it. Yep, it's George Carlin. What? And trust me when I say I was absolutely shocked when I read this, because I was absolutely certain that Tommy Chong played Fillmore in all 3 of these movies. Now, I wasn't exactly fair with my little guessing game because I did just play an audio clip from Cheech and Chong's Up in Smoke, but I think at least a fair few of you out there thought that you might have been listening to an actual clip from Cars. Now, to be completely fair, I'm going to play a clip of Fillmore from the first Cars movie.
Sure kicks on Route 66.
Wow, this organic fuel is great. Why haven't I heard about it before?
It's a conspiracy, man. The oil company's got a grip on the government. They're feeding us a bunch of lies, man.
It is absolutely insane, the parallels between George Carlin's performance and that who is Tommy Chong. And while I was doing my research, I came across this forum called vanning.com, and there was a post from May 4th, 2006, where this guy was sharing his excitement that there was a character played by Tommy Chong who was this Volkswagen van. Now, directly underneath this post was a thread of comments also sharing in the excitement of this. This one guy also hoped that they would make a toy of this character. Buddy, they made a lot of toys. Tommy Chong was in line to play Fillmore. So what happened? Well, folks, it's a pretty easy answer because Tommy Chong happened. In 2003, Tommy Chong pleaded guilty to helping sell and distribute drug paraphernalia through an online website. Yeah, nowadays that's just commonplace. I mean, you can walk into any kind of corner store and pick you up a bong. But yeah, Tommy Chong was busted selling bongs on the internet. And at the time, that was unheard of. It was a huge scandal. I actually remember it, even though I was pretty young. It was a huge, huge deal, and that basically cut ties with Disney. Chong was out and Carlin was in. So flash forward 3 years and it's 2006 and we're all in our seats at the movie theater watching the great comedy duo of Cheech Marin and George Carlin. Let's jump forward to 2016, 10 years after the release of Cars. In 2016, there was a rekindling in the relationship between Disney and Tommy Chong, and that of Disney's Zootopia. In Zootopia, Tommy Chong plays Yax the Yak, the animal naturalist and owner of the Mystic Spring Oasis. George Carlin ultimately only provided Fillmore's voice for the first Cars movie and a couple of the Cars Toon shorts. But then he was replaced in Cars 2 and Cars 3 after his death. To me, it was such a huge missed opportunity not to bring in Tommy Chong after the death of George Carlin in 2008. It would have been a beautiful and ceremonial passing of the axle back to Tommy Chong after George Carlin replaced him in the first place. And all of this is to say that I am not trying to take away what George Carlin brought to the character of Fillmore. He obviously evoked the essence that was Tommy Chong. And I also don't want to be disrespectful to Lloyd Sher, the man who took over the role of Fillmore in 2008 from George Carlin. Ramon was tailor-made to be played by Cheech, just as Fillmore was tailor-made to be played by Chong. But the stars didn't align, and ultimately we got George Carlin and Lloyd Sher. Maybe somewhere out in the multiverse, Chong did get the opportunity to play this Volkswagen van that was obviously characterized after him, and for that, you guys better be fucking grateful. And that's nothing against what George Carlin did, because look, he is one of the greatest comedians of all time, one of my favorites, and he gave a great performance. But ultimately, I think what we all saw was Tommy Chong, and I think he should have been given the role. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close out the show with a short little snippet of George Carlin on The Tonight Show in 1966 performing a character called the Hippy Dippy Weatherman. So, hope you all enjoy.
And now with the latest in weather, here's Al Sweet, your Hippy Dippy Weatherman. Hey, baby, what's happening? Al Sweet here, and I imagine some of you were a little surprised at the weather over the weekend, especially if you watched my show Friday night, man. I'd like to apologize for the weather, especially to the former residents of Rogers, Oklahoma. Caught them napping. I see the radar tonight is picking up a line of thunder showers which extends from a point 9 miles south-southeast of Chester, Pennsylvania, along a line and 6 miles either side of a line to a point 8 miles north-northeast of Secaucus, New Jersey. However, the radar is also picking up a squadron of Russian ICBMs, so I wouldn't sweat the thunder showers.